All right, today we'll be doing lab 7-6, and this is actually kind of a combination of putting together what we did in 7-4 and 7-5 together into one. So to start it out, we are in the VMware for University of Arkansas. We're in Excel, so we're going to go over to our PowerPoint. We're going to do manage, or sorry, not PowerPoint, Power Pivot. We'll get the manage, and then we're going to get external data, and we're going to pull it from the database like always. Our server. That was weird. All right, we'll go ahead and do and like always, we're going to be doing the Dillard's database. We're going to write our own query. And I'm going to go ahead and take you out of the typing because it's a little bit of typing that we have to do. So, all right, so here's our SQL statement right here. So we have our we're going to select our transaction date, our state, and our store number from the store table. We're going to sum our transaction amount, and we're going to list it as name it amount. We're going to pull all this information from the transact, and we're going to interjoin our store with our transact using the store numbers. We're going to pull the transaction types that are only purchases, which is our P here, and then we're going to group them by transaction date, the state and the store, and then we're going to order them by the transaction date, as we see here. As you can see down here, our SQL statement is valid, so that means that everything is going to work out, and so we're just going to go ahead and click Finish here. And we'll see how long this takes. All right, there we go. We can go and close. And here we can see all of our information right here in our query. All right, so just like we did in 7-5, we're going to go ahead and create, we're going to select our trans date, and we're going to click date table. We're going to make a new date table. So now we can see here we've created that date table that we did before. We're going to make sure we have it clicked on it, and we're going to go ahead and create a pivot table. We're going to put it in a new worksheet. And then here, just like in 7-5, we can see before our two tables here, and we have our query in our calendar right there. All right, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to go and create a new measure. We're going to call this measure current year. We can see that we're pulling it from the right information. And then our equation is going to be sum and amount right there. And then a neat little thing we can do is we can go and check formula. We see here that there are no errors in the formula, so we can go hit OK. And then it has created right here our current year, which is just summing the amount. All right, now we're going to do another new measure. And this one we're going to call last year. All right. And this one is going to be a little interesting. We're going to be using DAX, which is just a little fancy thing. So sum amount and same period last year. And we're going to be pulling this from calendar date. There we are. And then we go ahead and close it off. And then we can go and check our formula right here to make sure everything is right. And we can see here, no errors in our formula. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. And here we are. So now we can see our two. All right, now that we have created our two measures, we're going to go ahead and create a KPI for those two. We want to make sure that our current year is our base field, and we're going to measure that off of last year. And we want to make sure, just kind of like we did in 107-4, it's going to have 102 and 98 right there. Make sure that's still on. That's good. Click OK. Here we can see here we are back at that number, so you're just going to go back into our current year there. And then we're just going to click status off on. And then we have our yellow little square there. All right, now to actually break this down and make it look a little better and to actually show the some more information, we're going to pull our date hierarchy down into our rows here. So now we can see here that it actually breaks it out for us. And you can see here that now that it's broken out, but we're still having the same number here. It's because if we look over here, we see that there's a relationship because we're using two different tables here. So obviously we're going to auto detect, just like we did within 7-5. And then we're going to click close because it shows, and now we can see that we have our information is changing, is showing correct information. We can see that these two numbers are the same and these two numbers are the same. And then we can see our current year status here in pretty colors. All right, now we want to be able to compare them by months as well. So we're going to go ahead and create a new measure with months. So we're going to call it previous month. And then our formula is going to be kind of what we did before. And then we can go ahead and check our formula and everything looks right. There's no errors. So we're going to go and click OK. And there we go. So we've created our previous month now. All right, now we're going to create another measure for current month. That way we compare it to our previous month. And just like we did with current year, it's a simple formula, sum for amount. And we'll check it. No errors, so we'll click OK. All right, and then we're going to do a KPI with those 2 months. So we want to make sure that our current month is in our base field, and we're going to compare it off of our previous month. We're going to use the same standards, the 102% and the 98%. There. We're okay with that, and we're going to click OK. And then we can see here, so now we have, again, the numbers. We don't want the numbers, we want the pretty colors. So we're going to go over here to current month. Click it on, click it off, and here we are. Here we go. All right, and so now we can see we have this information out, but this is really high level for like top executives. This is shows like everything for the US. We want to make it a little bit easier, so we're going to go over to analyze. And so what we're going to do is we're going to insert slicers, and we're going to insert slicers based on the state and the store. That way our lower level managers and our state managers can go in and use this information as well. So insert slicer, state store, click OK. And here we see our 2 slicers. And what this allows us to do is essentially I can click Arizona and it shows all the stuff for Arizona. I can click off of it, or I can clear that and then it shows everything. I can show if I want store 145, and this is all the information for store 145. So yeah. All right, so now we want to take it one step further, and we're going to create a hierarchy between our state and store. So we're going to go back over to our Power Pivot. We're going to go back to Manage. We're going to go to Query, and we're going to go to Diagram View. So now we can see how our relations are between our query and our calendar. And we're going to select both state and store. And we are going to, where is it? There it is, create hierarchy. And we're going to name this store and state hierarchy. There we go. All right, so now we're just going to hit enter there. So now we can see that it puts our state above our store. All right, and so now we should just be able to exit out of this, and it should update it. So now we're going to click on our pivot table, and we can see here that we have our store and state hierarchy. And so we're going to go ahead and just drop that right in there. And we actually want it to be there. So now we can see for year 2014, we can see everything out by the state now. And we can still, so now we can even break that out to January like that. So we actually want it this way so that we can see, we actually want our store and state hierarchy above our date hierarchy. That way, so like we can go Louisiana. And we can click into 2014 for Louisiana, and the month of July in 2014 for Arizona. So here we can see all this date, specific date information and everything for that. With that, that is the end of Lab 7-6. Thank you very much.